Hey, welcome to your last Revit tutorial. We have a lot of ground to cover in this. We're not going to be able to cover everything, obviously, but the main focus of this is on sheets, it's on views, and it's on view-specific things. So that's annotations, that's detail lines, um, things of that, and schedules, things of that nature. Okay, so I want you to have open both the tutorial you did where you made and modeled this like weird building thing, and I want your family open. You're going to load your family into this model so you have kind of all of your Revit work in one place. So go to your family and click load into project and close. Do you want to save changes? No. Okay, and just place that in. And you can place more than one so that you can show off your different types. So this one I'm going to change to be my type 2. This one I'm going to change to be my type 4. Okay, great. So we are going to work on making a new sheet. So go to View, and then Sheets are over here. So click on Sheet. It should have one loaded already, it looks like. It should be E1 30 by 42 horizontal. If you don't see that, go to Load. And then, the question is where they are loaded under. Is there like a title blocks? Yeah, so it'd be under title blocks, and then you can pick from here. But we are going to use the E1 30 by 42 horizontal, and hit open and hit OK. All right, so here is my sheet. This is very similar to AutoCAD sheets, if you remember those. There's a lot of information on here. Some of it you can just correct it yourself. Some of it you need to go somewhere special to fill in. So how we can tell what the difference is, if I click on this, I can go to Edit Family, because this is also a family, and I can learn a little bit more about what's here. So this is just a text box. So for each project, I'm going to kind of need my own here. And this is going to be like my address or my consultant's address, right? So 123 Hickory Lane. I'm not going to type it in, but you get the point. This is someone's address. And we're actually going to delete all these for this because we're not doing that. The Autodesk symbol is just a PNG file, so you can bring in your own image here. So if I go to Insert, Image, I have no idea what's on my computer here. Maybe Render Output, let's see if I have anything. I have this brick wall, maybe. Great, so I'm going to use this as my logo, but you can put any image you want in there. Client name. So here, notice that was a text box, but this is a label. So a label means that it's getting information from the project yourself, and you're not going to change it on here. You can change like the size of the label, you can change what kind of label it is, but you're not going to impact that here. And I think all of these are labels. Label, label, checked by, label, label. Okay, so to get to those, we need to go to a different place. So I'm going to hit load into project and close. And I'm going to hit no so that it doesn't change my base file. Even though I didn't save it, it'll still be changed in my file. It's just not changed in the original location. All right, so to change these other things, I'm going to go to Manage, and then I'm going to go to Project Information. And here's where I can put in that kind of stuff. So you'll see here there's project address. So I don't remember Micah's address. Well, I mean, this should be the project address. I don't know any addresses off the top of my head. Shouldn't I know like the address of the White House or something, or like a cultural artifact? Yeah, I know no addresses off the top of my head, so I'm just going to make it up. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you have to click the dot, dot, dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Street in Baltimore, Maryland, 21210, I think is in Maryland. Okay. So you can add that in. your project name you can put in. So this is going to be practice, and you can make it whatever you want it to be. My project number is going to be 21007. The issue date, that's the date that you're putting the set out. So we said these are due May 6th, so I put in May 6th, 2021, project status, this is concept design, and the client name is going to be Micah. All right, so you can add in, I don't really care what you change these to, I just want to see that you've gotten them in. So when I hit OK, you'll notice that all that information is now changed on here. This one is a label, but this is a label that we change on the sheet itself because it's the sheet name. So this I'm going to call concept drawings. Normally you would put in like floor plans, details, sections. It generally describes what is on that sheet. Okay. So now that I have my sheet, I want to populate it with drawings, and each drawing is going to be its own view. So if you remember, we have been working on this level 1 floor plan over here. Let's bring that over to our concept drawing. So all you're going to do is drag it on in, and here it is. Okay, you'll notice that my drawing is way bigger than my piece of paper right now. But there's a lot of information on here I don't need. I really just want this inner information. So I'm going to double click on here, and I'm going to come down to this area where the view box is, and I'm going to click on crop view. And then I'm going to also click on show crop region. So this is my crop box. I want to bring it way in. So you're just going to click and drag on the little bubbles to bring them in. So I'm dragging those in. Okay, that's a lot more reasonable. Great. Once I'm done dragging it in, I'm going to hide my crop region again. Okay, so some things I just want to clean up a little bit. This section line, I want to show it, but I'm going to bring these in. And I'm going to click this little zigzag in the middle to split that section line so that people don't think it's anything in my model. They don't think it's like a step or something. I'm also going to clean this part up. So it's helpful to have like the grid lines dimensioned, but those can certainly be dimensioned over here so I don't have cross-crossing dimensions. I can pull these out a little bit. I can pull this out a little bit. Often I actually don't even have the grid lines go all the way through my drawing because I think they get kind of cluttery. So if you want to change that, if you click on one, click on where it says 3D, click on that, and then once it says 2D, it'll only change in this view. It won't change in all of your other views. So then it's safe to move down. If I were to change it when it's in 3D, it would make my grid line smaller in all of my views. I just want it smaller in this view. Okay, so this is already starting to get a lot cleaner, right? Let's say that I want to make a few more view-specific changes to this. So, for example, I want my walls to be a black poche, and I want my topography lines to be lighter. So I'm going to type in VV for visibility graphics, and that'll bring up this dialog, which allows me to change how all of these things are reading. So I'm going to scroll down until I see walls. And then for my cut of my walls, I'm going to go to Patterns, Override, do Solid Fill, and the color I'm going to make black, and hit OK, hit OK, hit Apply. So that automatically has made my walls black. I also want my topography to be lighter, so I'm going to make it halftone. So I come here to topography. If you come all the way over, you can click on halftone, hit apply, and that'll make those lines less extreme. Then hit OK. I'm not going to change anything else in here, but I do want to note a few things. So I'm going to do something called an annotation. An annotation is basically, it labels things so that we can track them to schedules and we can find them in other views. So for example, the doors often have a door tag, and that tag tags back to a schedule so you can order the right door. So I'm going to type in TG for tag. And it looks like I have a door tag already loaded, which is great. So I'm going to click on there, but it has a big question mark because this doesn't have a mark yet. So if I click on it, I'm clicking on this object and I go down where it has mark. I'm going to give the door a number. So I'm going to call it 001 and hit apply. Now that door has that mark and it'll show up in the tag. I'm going to hide my leader and I'm going to bring this over here. I usually put it to vertical so I can kind of like put it in the door leaf and get it neatly out of the way. Anything else I want to tag on here? I could tag window types. That's certainly something valid to tag. I could tag my storefront, so maybe I'll tag that. And I can tag my wall type. So if I type in TG again, I can tag my curtain wall and I can tag this. So let's try on here, go to edit type, and you're going to go to type mark, and this is going to be type G1 because it's like my glass wall. And then this wall, I'm going to go to edit type, and I'm going to make this A1. So the reason I give those a type is because then usually you'll have another sheet where you draw out the actual details of what G1 looks like in elevation and in section, and you'll do a general diagram of what A1 looks like how that wall is composed. So that's why those are tagged. Okay, that's all we're doing for this plan. So I'm going to click out, deactivate view. Okay, so I'm dragging this on. I'm noticing my plan looks really small on my sheet. So I'm going to make it bigger. So if I click on it, I'm going to come over here to view scale. I'm going to increase my view scale to 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. And so now that's over here. Okay, that looks better. And I'm going to bring it down to this one corner. You'll notice that the text did not get bigger. The text is still 3/32 of an inch. Just the drawing, everything that's like to scale in the drawing got bigger. So then I can drag, this is like my view title over, and that'll have the drawing number, and it'll say it'll say the name of the view and the view scale. If I click on here, the bubbles will show up on it, and I can drag that bubble in. That's kind of tricky though. If you just try to click on this, that bubble doesn't show up. You have to click on the view to get the bubble to come back. Okay, so now let's stick that section in. So we have this section going through the whole thing. So I'm going to come over here to views, my project browser, go down to sections. I'm going to bring section 1 in. Okay, this is not at the same scale. I want to align them, so I'm going to make this the same scale as that. Great. Let's double click on it. And here we have our crop region. So I'm going to bring that way in. You don't need all that. Awesome. Okay, then I'm going to hide my crop region down here. And I'm going to, I think that's it. And I'm going to deactivate view. Okay, so I'm going to drag this over, and do you see that little line that pops up, that blue line? That means it's aligned with the view below. Then I'm going to drag this over, click on here, bring the blue bubble over. Okay, in this view, I want to clean this up a little bit too, so I'm going to double click on here. These already say 2D, which is great. I'm going to click on this box so that I bring the section, the level bubbles over here instead of on the other side. And then I'm going to click on them and get rid of them over here just because I think it's a lot. Okay, I'm going to bring my dimensions for those over here. You can just drag them. Great, I'm going to tag my doors, so TG. So there's my tag doors. I'm not going to tag anything else on this view. Okay. So now you have both a plan and you have a section. Let's say that there were certain qualities of the plan, like I like that this black line shows up, that I would also like to have in my section drawing. I can double click on here, go to view, view templates, and hit create template from current view. So I'm going to call this template black walls. Normally you would have a lot more stuff in your view template. We're just going to call it that. And notice there's all these different kinds of, you can have it alter the view scale, you can change what the display model is, the detail level, lots of different things it could be about. We really just want the display model, the VG overrides the model is all we change. So the rest of this I can kind of deselect. So I'm just going through, I don't want it to affect the view range, the lighting, the shadows, the model display. Actually, the model display is good. Analytics, I mean, that stuff we just didn't change, so we don't need to do that. So I'm going to hit OK. So once I've made that view template, I actually want to apply to the view I'm already on. So I'm going to go over here under Properties to View Template, hit this, and click on black walls and hit OK. Okay, so the one thing in a view template is now if I hit VV, notice all this is grayed out and I can't change it. If I want to change those things, I need to actually go into the view template, go to VG overrides model, and then change them. Okay, so I'm going to right click and say deactivate view. Then I'm going to come back over the section view, go to view template. Here you're going to have to do all, and then click on black walls, hit apply. And that'll give you the same black walls on those. And actually, I think I want the floors to be different too. I also want the floors to be black. So I'm going to go over here back to my overrides under my template, go to floors, and change my cut pattern to black and to solid and black and hit OK. Oh, and my roof. So roof is a separate kind of object. So I'd come over here to roofs, patterns, solid fill, and black. And hit OK, OK, apply. Okay. All right, I think this is okay. This is already starting to read a little bit better. So now I have my plan and my section. I'd like to add in a detail view. So let's think about what we might want to add more detail to. We don't actually know a whole lot about this building because it is a fake building. So let's say I wanted to do a detail of this doghouse that I made. So I'm going to double click on this view to activate it. And I'm going to go to call out. So call out allows me to make an enlargement of something that's already in here. And I'm just going to do bloop, and there's my call out. So I'm going to right click, deactivate my view, and I want to drag my call out into this sheet. So I'm going to go over here, and it should be a floor plan. It's level 1, call out 1, drag it over. It automatically made it 1/2 inch equals 1 foot scale, and we can leave it at that. That's cool. So I'm going to double click on here. I'm going to change this to be wireframe view so that you can see the walls inside. And maybe let's say I want in this drawing to explain what's around it. So I don't actually want to have to model everything. I'm just going to kind of draw it outside. So let's actually change this back to hidden line. So this is my roof plan, and I'm just going to show that, oh, there's also some things for the dog around the doghouse. So I'm going to draw them in detail lines. Detail lines will not show up in any other view. They're just done lines. So if I go to annotate, detail line, I can create a water bowl over here. I can offset the edge of the water bowl 1 inch. Okay, so I chose where the water bowl goes, and then maybe I also need a food bowl. So I'm going to copy this, food bowl, and maybe actually it should be over here on the side. Okay, so I have those located. I want to distinguish between the water and the food, so I'm going to create a filled region. So I'm going to go to annotate, region, and I'm going to go ahead and make this. I can change what this pattern is. So let's start out, we'll do diagonal up. I'm going to go to edit type, foreground fill pattern. I'm going to click on here and then I can change it. So let's make it the diagonal crosshatch. Hit apply. I'm not seeing anything. So let's make it something smaller. So I'm going to do model view instead. I think because this is so small, I'm not seeing any of the pattern. So I'm going to create a new pattern. And I'm going to make the line spacing 1 inch and hit OK. Then hit OK. Change the color to orange or blue. Change color to blue. Hit OK, hit apply, hit OK. Oh, I know what it is. I didn't actually draw it yet. So I'm going to hit the green button. And there's my blue water. Perfect. Sorry about that. Okay, so I have a filled region. I have some detail lines. Let's say I also want to have an enlarged elevation of this. In here, I can then go to my elevation thing. So if I go to view, elevation, elevations always want to look at a wall, which is why this is not looking happy. But I'm just going to click there, click on here, click the other side, unclick that side. And then this is going to be elevation 1C. So deactivate, let's hide the crop region, deactivate view, and I can drag my elevation 1C over. And you'll notice that it's like showing me the whole height of this. I don't need all that, so I'm going to crop my view down. And then I'm going to hide my crop box. And you'll notice that I actually took this on totally the wrong side. So I'm going to rotate my doghouse. Okay, that looks better. So I'm going to move this until it lines up. This one seems like it's not happy about aligning for some reason. So I'm just going to visually do that. Bring it up. Bring my bubble over. Clean this up. Okay. So I don't want to see this. I'm going to right click on it and just say hide and view elements. And then I want to get the size of this. So I'm going to do DI and give the size of that. And then maybe I'll also give the size of the roof. And I'm going to give the size of this. And I also want to show the radius of this. So I'm going to go to Annotate. And I'm going to show radial dimension, and that'll show what that is. This is like way too specific. So if I go on here, I can go to Edit Type, and I can tell it that I don't want it to round that much. So uncheck Use Project Settings and do to the nearest 1 inch and hit OK. And that'll round it off for you. Deactivate view. So those dimensions only show up in that view. If I go to like my 3D view, it's not like those dimensions live here. They only live on this drawing. Okay, so we went over placing views onto here, creating a new view, right? Like we created this call out view. We added some detail lines. We added some fill lines. Trying to remember what else I wanted to cover. Oh, schedules. So often you'll also have a schedule that explains in text what is on here. So one thing we might have a schedule for is our windows. So let's actually go in here and let's tag our windows. So I'm going to type in TG. And they're all tagging as 9. So I'm going to change some of my window types just so that we see a variety of windows in our window schedule. So I'm going to change this one over here to a different size. And I'm going to change this one over here to, again, a different size. Don't care what the sizes are. Just change the sizes. Okay. Right-click, deactivate view. So now I'm going to, let's see if we already have a window schedule. Nope, we're going to make a window schedule. So I'm going to go to View, Schedules, Schedule Quantities. And I want to make a window schedule. So under Category, I'm looking for Window. And New construction's a good phase, and schedule building components. Okay, so I want to put in what their mark is. So type mark first. And then I want to put in what the width is. And I want to put in what the height is. And maybe I'll put in some comments as well. So comments. And you'd probably add some more information. We're just going to put in that for now. Hit OK. And that's going to make my tiny little window schedule. So comments, I can just type in. Onto the sheet, just like everything else I dragged on. So I'm going to come over here to schedules, and it'll now appear, and I can drag that on. So there's lots of ways to, I should mention, there's lots of ways to filter the schedule, change the schedule. So if I come over to here, if you click on edit, like you can do different fields, you can add filters, which like only show things on floor one, only show things that start with E, all different ways to do that. Sorting and grouping allows you to sort them in different ways other than ascending. Formatting, you can change how the formatting appears, how big it is, all that. And appearance, the grid lines, you can make them thin, you can make them fat, showing headers and footers, all that information is here. Okay, so you can get these graphics to look more like you might want them, but I'm just going to leave my window schedule here. It might be nice to have some lines dividing up this page, so I can also draw lines on my sheet. So if I type in DL, I'm going to go to medium lines, and then I can create some lines just to kind of split up this drawing a little bit. Okay, the last thing I would like you guys to put on is a 3D view. So I'm going to go over to my 3D view, and let's drag the section box in from this side, or whichever side you choose, so that you kind of get like a sectional view of this. I'm going to drag this down, drag this over, drag this over. So type in the, let's hide all these levels. Actually, you can just right click on them, override graphics and group by category, and just uncheck visible and hit OK. All right. So I want to make this more of like a shaded view. So I'm going to come over to here and turn shadows on. So that'll show some shadows. I can also alter what those shadows look like. I'll come over here. Let's make it realistic. Oh, realistic is really ugly. How about shaded? Okay, so we'll do shaded. Detail level, let's make that fine. Temporary hide, isolate, unlock 3D view. So I want to actually get the view exactly how I want it. So let's say we want it like this. Maybe this don't need quite so much ground under it or quite so much sky. And then I can right click on here and hide my section box. Okay, so now that we have that, you're going to lock your 3D view. And you have to give it a name. And hit OK. Okay, so now that this is here, even if I spin around, it won't allow me to spin. It's a locked view. So there are ways to continue to alter this. Do I want my sun path on? That'll like turn on the sun path if you want to see it. We don't need that on though. And you can change your sun settings over here, which is kind of nice. So like multi-day, single day, still, blah, blah, blah. That's where all that lives. So I'm going to turn that off for right now. Okay, here we go. Sorry. No, this isn't the right thing. So I'm looking for, there's more settings that you can change, like how the hidden line shows up or how the shaded view shows up. Show analytical model, temporary view properties. Reset. That's showing hidden stuff. So obviously I don't use it very often because I'm not remembering it. So if I type in VV, let's see if any of that's in here. Object styles, annotation categories. I'm gonna pause this, hang on. Sorry about that, found it. So and once you turn the shadows on, come over here to visual style and go to graphic display options. Over here, you can change whether you want to show the edges or not. So I can turn off the edges. I'm saying I'm going to show the edges, but you can add some transparency to it so you can kind of see through it. So maybe I'll do that much transparency. You can reduce the shadows. So I don't even know what silhouettes does. I'm going to do none for that. Do I have my shadows turned on? Yeah, so sketchy lines. You can enable sketchy lines to kind of make this look more like a drawing if you want to. Let's not do depth cueing. Lighting you can change. So this is the sun in session lighting. I can make it brighter. I can reduce my shadows. That's the main thing I was looking for. Did I turn my shadows off? No. Why aren't the shadows showing up? So let me put this back to transparency 100%. Wait, transparency 0%. Apply. Okay, there's my shadow showing up again. So I didn't like that I made things transparent. What if I did like a little bit transparent? Can I do shadows? Nope, so shadows don't work with transparency. Good to know. So here it casts shadows, and I can reduce the shadows. The annoying thing is you have to click like apply after everything. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to go to over here is background. I'm going to use a gradient background and hit apply, and then let's change the color of my gradient. Okay, let's make this more of a blue. Green. Okay, cool. So once you're happy with that, hit OK. And then I can also, even though I already have a section box on here, I can also crop this view. So I'm going to hit crop view. And then I can show crop region. I can bring in those crop lines so it's not too big. Okay. So once I'm happy with that, I'm going to come over to my concept drawings and I'm going to drag that straight onto here. So I'm going to go to, it's under 3D views. I'm going to drag my locked view onto here. And it's not fitting very happily right now. So I'm going to make this smaller. So if I double click on here, I think I can change the scale here. I don't know if I remember how to do this. Let's say I make it like, that should make it way bigger, but then I feel like I can make my page smaller. So if I have to set my crop boundary. Turret elevation. Hang on a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to use a trick someone else gave me, but I realized it's only for perspective views, so we're going to skip that. just bring this scale down so it'll fit on your page a little bit better. So let's do 1/4 inch won't fit. Let's try 16. That's too tiny. Let's try 30 seconds. That's perfect. Okay, so deactivate view, and then you can bring it exactly where you want it. And you can change this. You'll also notice it automatically gives the name locked view. If you don't want to call it that, you can call it like 3D isomet 3D section. All right. I'm going to add a line here. Okay, so that's it. So you have your plan, you have your plan with annotations, right? Referencing the glass type, referencing the wall type. You have some dimensions on here. You have your grid line showing. You have a call out that comes over to this sheet. You'll notice that once the call out is actually placed on a sheet, it'll have a number, so it references you to 3A101. So I go to sheet A101 and I find drawing 3, and that's here. Same thing with the section. As soon as I place that onto the sheet, this filled in and it said 2A101, so I know it is 2 on this sheet, which is A101. We have our 3D view and we have our schedule. So let's say now I would like you to print this and upload it. So to do that, you're going to go to File, and you should have saved. I haven't saved anything. Save as, project. So make sure you're saving. Sorry about that, I didn't save earlier. Okay, so go to print. You're going to change this to Adobe PDF. Go to Properties. Make sure this is not checked. That always messes me up. For paper, layout, landscape is good. I think I go to advanced here. Okay, so you're going to change the paper size to ARC E1, which is the same as our big paper, and hit OK, hit OK. Current window is good. Let's make sure our setup is all good. So ARC E1, landscape, vector processing. It's probably going to make us do raster processing because of this gradient, but we'll leave it on graphic vector processing for now. We're going to do zoom to 100% of size. We're going to center it. High, raster quality high, color is good, hide on reference view tags, and hit OK. And I'm not going to save the settings. Okay. Yeah, it's going to do raster printing. That's fine. Oh no, really? Okay, so let me try launching Acrobat. It might just be because I haven't logged in. It looks like I'm logged in. It seems like it's happy. Do I have to sign in? Do I have to sign in? Is Creative Cloud on here? Okay, let's see if I have to sign into Creative Cloud. Oh my god, really? You're gonna update yourself in the middle of my tutorial? Hang on guys, I'm sorry, third pause. Okay, sorry about that. So, you should be able to print, say okay, and then I'm gonna put it on my desktop just so I can find it, save it, and then it'll print. And if it's having trouble printing, which it shouldn't, like this is having a lot more trouble than it normally should, there's one more thing you can try. So if you go to File, go back to Print, go to Setup, this is all the same, so that's fine. Under here, do Selected Views window, select, uncheck Views, select your sheet, hit OK, and then hit OK, and hit Yes, and OK, fine. And this is going to have the sheet name and everything in there. So let's put to our desktop, hit save. Yeah, so for some reason lately when I use Adobe, it's happier printing the sheet when I select it that way than when I just say print that one. Oh, but anyway, we finally got there. Sorry, guys. So here we have, I'm going to hide this. So here you have your sheet. Just get this uploaded, and that is it. Thank you so much. Sorry for all the stops and starts in that one.